You think if she's not interested, you just need better words, better timing, better moves. But that belief is exactly what keeps you unattractive. You think desire is something you can make happen to her, but real desire begins the moment you stop trying to force it. If you need truth like that on a regular basis, subscribe now, because this is not about feeding an algorithm. This is about fighting your own delusion. You do not need more dating fluff. You do not need more tricks from men who are just teaching polished desperation. You need reminders. You need correction. You need somebody to pull you back to reality when your ego starts writing fantasy checks your character cannot cash. Here's what it really means when people say they want to know how to make a woman desire them, even if she's not interested. What they usually mean is this: how do I override her current perception of me? How do I create attraction where there is none? How do I get the outcome without becoming the man who naturally earns it? And that is the first problem, because the question itself is already contaminated. It comes from control. It comes from insecurity. It comes from a man who is so focused on getting chosen that he forgets he was supposed to build himself into someone worth choosing. That's the thesis. You do not make a woman desire you by chasing her resistance. You become more desirable by removing the behaviors that kill attraction and building the inner life that creates it. That is a different game entirely. One is manipulation, the other is transformation. One is fantasy, the other is reality. The misconception is brutal in how common it is. You think attraction is persuasion. You think if you say the right thing, text the right way, ignore her for the right number of hours, act mysterious at the right moment, she'll suddenly flip. But attraction does not work like a sales pitch. Desire is not a hostage negotiation. She is not waiting for the perfect script. She is responding to who you are, how you carry yourself, what you tolerate, what you pursue, and whether your energy says abundance or need. That's the hard truth. And most men hate that truth because it puts the responsibility back on them. They would rather believe there is a hidden female psychology code than face the simpler reality that they are often too available, too approval-seeking, too emotionally uncentered, too easy to read, and too disconnected from purpose. They think the problem is she doesn't see their value. No, usually she sees exactly what is there. She sees a man trying to borrow confidence from her attention. She sees a man who wants the reward before he's built the foundation. Why does this happen? Root cause. You were taught to pursue validation before identity. You were taught to perform instead of develop. So when a woman is not interested, your mind does not say, that's information. It says, that's a challenge. It says, try harder. It says, prove yourself. That's not confidence. That's emotional dependency dressed up like determination. That's called overinvestment. That's called self-abandonment. That's called putting her opinion above your own standards. And what does it cost you? It costs you your composure. It costs you your self-respect. It costs you your ability to read reality. You start double texting. You start replaying conversations. You start hunting for signs and crumbs. You start calling anxiety chemistry. You start calling obsession effort. You start calling emotional chaos passion. No, it is not passion. It is panic. It is not love. It is attachment to possibility. It is not masculine persistence. It is resistance to rejection. And women feel that. They may not describe it in clinical language. They may not sit there and say, his nervous system is dysregulated and he's over-orienting around my approval, but they feel it. They feel the pressure. They feel the hidden agenda. They feel when your interest is not coming from grounded appreciation, but from hunger, and hunger repels when it is undisciplined. Neediness makes even strong words sound weak. Desperation makes even attractive men look small. You can dress it up. You can hide it for a while, but your timing reveals it. Your texting reveals it. Your reactions reveal it. Your inability to let go reveals it. So reframe this whole thing. Stop asking, how do I make her desire me if she's not interested? Start asking, what in me is making disinterest feel like something I need to conquer? That question will change your life. Because now you are no longer trying to engineer someone else's emotions. You are investigating your own lack of center. You are asking why her indifference has so much power over your mind. You are asking why one woman's lack of enthusiasm can shake your identity. That is where the real work begins. Because here is the irony. The more you try to make a woman want you, the less wanted you become. Why? Because desire grows in space, in mystery, in emotional steadiness, in earned respect, in tension that is not forced. It does not grow in pressure. It does not grow in over-explaining. It does not grow in a man who instantly abandons his routine, his standards, his emotional balance, just because he met someone attractive. The man who becomes desirable is not the man who keeps poking at closed doors. It is the man who can see a closed door and keep walking with dignity. That matters. That changes everything because now your energy says, I am interested, but I am not enslaved. It says, I can appreciate beauty without worshiping it. It says, I know what I bring and I refuse to bargain against myself for attention. That is powerful. And let's make this even clearer. If she is truly not interested, you do not make her desire you. You accept reality and improve yourself anyway. Sometimes her answer stays no. Good. Respect it. Sometimes her answer changes later because your energy changed, your life changed, your standards changed, your presence changed. Fine. But that change did not happen because you manipulated her. It happened because you stopped centering your life around being chosen and started becoming a man with gravity. That's the difference. Think about the man who embodies this. He is not frantic. He is not obsessed with decoding every female response like it's a riddle holding the key to his worth. He is grounded. He has work to do. He has a body he trains, a mind he sharpens, a life he is responsible for. He is warm, but not overeager. Interested, but not overeaching. He can flirt without leaking need. He can be rejected without collapsing. He can be desired without becoming arrogant. He has boundaries, not because he is cold, but because he respects himself too much to beg for what should be freely given. That's the man. He does not chase mixed signals. He does not romanticize confusion. He does not turn a lack of interest into a personal mission. If she is cold, he reads cold. If she is polite, he reads polite. If she is warm, he responds with calm confidence, not emotional sprinting. He is not trying to win women. He is trying to live in a way that makes his presence felt before his words ever do. That is masculine gravity, quiet, stable, honest, unforced, and because he lives like that, women can feel something around him that is increasingly rare. No grasping, no auditioning, no covert contract that says, I was nice, now reward me. Just clear energy, clear standards, clear self-possession. He does not need to dominate the room. He does not need to perform mystery. His life already gives him depth. His restraint gives him mystery. His purpose gives him weight. You want female psychology? Fine. Here it is in plain language. Most women are not looking for a man who is obsessed with getting them. They are drawn to a man who is deeply aligned with himself. A man whose attention means something because it is not handed out recklessly. A man whose desire feels clean, not sticky. A man who can lead himself. A man who has emotional range without emotional chaos. A man who knows the difference between connection and craving. That is what many men miss. They think attraction is about intensity. No, it is about congruence. That's the word. Congruence. Your words, your pace, your attention, your actions, your boundaries, your lifestyle, your self-respect, they all tell the same story. When they do, people trust what they feel around you. When they don't, you look like a performance. So what do? You stop trying to convert disinterest with effort. You stop flooding her with attention to prove value. You stop trying to be more available, more funny, more agreeable, more impressive. You stop negotiating against your own dignity, and you start here. First, accept the current reality fast. If she is not interested, let that information hit your ego without letting it hijack your identity. Rejection is data. That's called emotional maturity. Second, pull your focus off her response and put it back on your life, your body, your mission, your money, your discipline, your friendships, your standards. Attraction is often killed by a man whose whole world shrinks the second he likes someone. Expand again. Third, clean up your energy. Text less when you feel anxious, not more. Speak more directly, not more frequently. Do not try to charm your way out of low perceived value. Raise the value quietly. Fourth, stop performing good guy behaviors to earn intimacy. If you are kind, be kind because it is your standard, not because you expect access. Hidden transactions are weak actions. Women feel them immediately. Fifth, create scarcity through substance, not games. Do not disappear to manipulate. Be busy because your life is full. Be unavailable because your priorities are real. There is a difference. One is strategy, the other is identity. Sixth, when interest is low, become clearer, not louder. No pressure, no pleading. No trying to explain your worth to someone who is not currently available to see it. The sun does not argue with blind eyes, it just burns. Seventh, build tension through presence, not performance. Better eye contact, better posture, better emotional control, better listening, better timing, better silence. Silence matters. Presence versus noise, calm versus chaos, reality versus fantasy. Most men talk too much because they are trying to manage perception. The grounded man lets the moment breathe. Eighth, if there is no reciprocity, leave it alone. This is where your self-respect either lives or dies. Do you know how many men destroy their attractiveness by lingering where they are barely tolerated? Do not stay where you are only being managed. Do not keep offering what is not being valued. Walking away from lukewarm energy is not losing. That's called standards. And yes, sometimes this is what changes the dynamic. Not because she was tricked, because when you stop chasing, you stop lowering your value in front of her. When you detach with dignity, you become readable in a new way. Now she has space to feel your absence, to compare your steadiness against the noise of other men, to sense that your life did not pause when she failed to validate it. That can create desire. But if it does, it happens as a byproduct of self-respect, not as a scheme. You need to hear that clearly. If you detach only to get her back, you are still attached. If you improve only to make her regret it, you are still controlled by her. If every gym session, every book, every boundary, every move you make is secretly a message to her, then she still owns space in your mind you should have reclaimed. That's not growth. That's performance with better lighting. Real change is quieter. You wake up and realize you no longer need every woman you want to want you back. You realize desire is not proof of your worth. You realize being overlooked does not reduce your value. You realize your standards are not punishments, they are protections. You realize your piece is too expensive to trade for inconsistent attention. Now you're dangerous in the right way. Now when you meet women, you're no longer asking, how do I get her? You're asking, do we align? You're no longer trying to pass every test. You're evaluating too. You're no longer seduced by beauty alone. You want character, reciprocity, ease, respect, and that shift is magnetic because it means you are no longer entering interactions from below. You are standing on your feet. That's the deeper female psychology men rarely understand. A woman often feels safest, most curious, and most drawn to the man who is not trying to crawl inside her head. He is not obsessing over how to trigger a reaction. He is simply there, fully there, with direction in his life and discipline in his behavior. He can enjoy her without dissolving into her. He can desire her without worshiping her. He can walk away without bitterness. That man is hard to manipulate, hard to shake, hard to forget. Become him. Build a life that does not need rescuing by romance. Build a body that reflects standards. Build communication that is honest, clean, and unneedy. Build emotional control so you stop mistaking longing for purpose. Build boundaries so that your interest has shape. Build patience so you no longer confuse urgency with connection. And stop doing what weakens you. Stop over-texting. Stop over-explaining. Stop over-giving before anything is earned. Stop trying to prove value where there is no invitation. Stop taking every woman's opinion as a verdict on your manhood. Stop making one person the center of a life you have not fully built. Redirect that energy. Train harder, work cleaner, speak slower, choose better, observe more, need less. Respect yourself enough to let disinterest be disinterest. Because the truth is, the most attractive shift is not that she suddenly becomes interested. It is that you stop becoming less of yourself in the presence of beauty. Read that again in your mind. You stop becoming less of yourself. You stop shrinking. You stop performing. You stop abandoning your edge just to be accepted. And in that moment, whether it's her or another woman or no woman at all for a season, you win something bigger than attraction. You win your center back. That is the real victory. You are not here to learn how to manipulate desire. You are here to stop betraying yourself in pursuit of it. You are not here to force chemistry. You are here to become a man whose presence creates possibility without pressure. You are not here to beg reality to change. You are here to meet reality, master yourself inside it, and move with dignity no matter what comes back. So if she's not interested, hear the truth without drama. Fine. Good. Let it refine you, not define you. Let it expose where you are still needy, still reactive, still fragile, still searching for identity in someone else's eyes. Then go to work, quietly, relentlessly, not to make her jealous, not to get revenge, not to build a better mask, to become more real. Because the man who becomes truly desirable is not obsessed with being desired. He is obsessed with becoming solid, solid in mind, solid in body, solid in standards, solid in mission. And from that solidity comes ease. From that ease comes confidence. From that confidence comes clean attraction. Not forced, not fake, not borrowed. You are the answer. Not your tactics, not your lines, not your timing games. You, your discipline, your self respect, your standards, your ability to remain rooted when life does not immediately give you what you want. That is what makes you powerful. That is what makes you rare. That is what makes you unforgettable. Subscribe if you want more truth like this, more clarity, more reminders that drag you out of fantasy and back into your own strength. Stay here if you are done with tricks, done with chasing, done with building your identity around women who are unsure of you. If you want self respect over desperation, standards over confusion, reality over illusion, then you're in the right place. You belong here.